Zdravo živo, tēnā koe, jās sum Najdovski-Perin. If you don't know me, I'm the Macedonian Māori. I've done a little bit of activism on Facebook. I've met a lot of like-minded patriots and lifelong friends through the work. A little bit more about me, I'm half Macedonian, half Māori, but in my opinion, half means nothing. You are who you are. I am Macedonian, I am Māori. My Macedonian heritage, we're from Selo Pradesh there, which is the same village as my dear panellist Ordan. We're a very proud, very patriotic village, Miatsi. Yes, very famous village in Macedonian history. Why I'm so interested in Macedonian affairs, I'd attribute that to my old 72-year-old dedo, Najdovski. Very stubborn old man at times, but very proud and very loving man. And he instilled in me a love for my Macedonian identity, pride for where we come from, pride of what our people have done, not just in our very long history, but what we've achieved as a community in Australia.
Thank you, Jordan. Elena? You need the microphone? Thank you, Elena.
So, my name is Elena Sokolovska, and I am on my way of becoming a historian. I studied history at the University of Melbourne, and I completed honours year at the University of Sydney, where I researched and wrote a thesis on Macedonian history, specifically about the Second World War occupation of Macedonia and the atrocities that took place during that period. And I've been involved in the Melbourne University Macedonian Student Society. First I was the treasurer, then I was the vice president, and finally I was the president before I graduated, and that's what I've mostly been involved in.
Thank you, Elena. Dino, can you tell us who you are?
My name's Petrovska. Moje se od selo Kleština, ja sam rodena v Australiji. Majka mi dojde na 14 godini, po 47 godina. I've worked in education, I've recorded life stories, I've been actively involved with the Macedonian Teachers Association of Victoria, and I've been a part of this amazing community. Thank you very much for inviting me tonight and giving me a chance to reflect actually on where we've come. I just want to say, David, thank you very, very much for the work that you're doing. Mendo and I have spent our youth in this club. In the 1980s, Mendo was on the committee. Our kids played soccer. We had so many friends, so many good times, and we watched that social club be built. It was fantastic to be part of this community, and so amazing to see another generation build on those foundations. Congratulations.
Thank you, Pandora. Microphone?
Живан, ти благодарам прво што ме поканивте вечерва. Имам навистина задоволство да бидам овде како дел од овој panel discussion. Некои од вас знаете дека со години се занимавам како активиста за македонскава заедница, како доброволец, како човек што си ја сака Македонија, што си ја сака својата култура и како човек и фамилија кои сакаат да има добри работи во мултикултурна Австралија, кај што македонците ќе бидат уште повише ценети, кај што ќе бидеме со исти права како сите. Никој нема право нас да не ги земе нашите човекови права, да не прашува за нашиот идентитет, за нашата историја. Ние имаме идентитет, имаме историја, имаме култура, имаме јазик, имаме сите богатства и затоа сите сака да ни ги земат овие наши богатства што ги имаме и затоа мора да бидеме активни и стратешки во нашиот пристап, да си ги зачуваме први нашата Македонија, посебно да се зачуваме нашиот идентитет и јазик во Австралија и во целиот свет и да се работуваме како македонци не само во една нетворка на македонци, туку и со други нации, со други народи, дали се тие без разлика која нација, со сите сме пријатели. Ја например сум пријател со луѓе од Индија, од Кина, од Америка, од секаде, од Европа, од Турција. Секаде има добри луѓе, златни луѓе, сите не почитуваат. Луѓе од Афганистан знаат за Македонија, и од Индија знаат, од Пакистан знаат, значи сите си ја знаат дека македонци постоиме, дека сме цивилизација, имаме врска и можност за соработка со целиот свет, со Австралија посебно како демократска држава. Мора да се работи константно со политичари овде и со нашава заедница, бидејќи имаме над 100.000 најмалку македонци, меѓутоа мора да имаме повише импект, да бидеме повише ангажирани и така ќе постигнеме многу подобри резултати.
Пред да те прашам тебе, кој си ти? Кажи ми колку години си во радиото?
27.
27 години. Колку години сте вие? Колку години сте ти стари? 22. Окей. Значи тој 5 години пред да се роди ти отвараше радиото и сега требаш. Thank you very much. Кажи ми нешто за вас.
Okay, I would like to thank you first of all for inviting me to be part of this panel discussion. I came in Australia in 1985. I was 25 years old. I didn't speak English even a single word, nothing. And so I was very eager to learn English and to be part of this society, Australian society, multicultural society, which is giving us the options to penetrate or to become something if you like to put your efforts. And in 1988, I enrolled Bachelor of Arts at Victoria University. And I completed Bachelor of Arts, then I did the honors degree at Victoria University. At the same time, 89 or 90 I think, I was employed at Williamston High School at that time. And seeking new opportunities or seeing the Macedonian community at that time, I saw a number of people, that generation has gone now. I was inspired at that time to become a member of this Macedonian society and also to give my contribution about the Macedonian existence, about self-identification, about Macedonia, and about Macedonian history, Macedonian culture, Macedonian language, and everything. When I was at Victoria University, it was interesting to say a couple of words. Probably I will say this, I want to say that because when I was seeking to find books about Macedonia and Macedonian history, in those long libraries in Victoria here, especially Victoria University, Monash University, Melbourne University, look, under the letter of M, Macedonia, you could see millions of books, but there is nothing written about Macedonia. Everything was connected with Greece.
Friends.
Yes, with Greece. So what I found Slavko Janeski, I found the book of Slavko Janeski and a few others. And then I said to myself, I'm gonna write even 30 or 40 pages, but I'm gonna write one book at that time, I said, to be pure Macedonian and for the Macedonians. And then, yes, I did that. That was the first Macedonian generation, integration or assimilation. And also, I also offered at Victoria University to do master's degree, or before master's degree, I did a graduation diploma in secondary education. But also I was a member of the Teachers Association together with Pandora. We fought a lot of battles here in Australia and Victoria, and fortunately we won them. Yes, we defeated the government of Victoria and Australia. And then 97, I completed my master's degree. Contested identity. Contested identity is why the Australian government renamed the Macedonian community to Slav Macedonian, and why the Victorian government renamed the Macedonian language to Slavonic language, as we remember, yeah? And that's why I did my master's on that topic. And after that I did my PhD. The PhD is about the Macedonians, Macedonian Australian People's League, or the Macedonian organizations, the first Macedonian organizations, as the establishment of the Macedonian community in Australia. And fortunately, so the founders are the Macedonians from Kostur, Voden, Lerin, Drama, and Kavala. I'm talking about the organizations before World War II. And I don't like to say more about it.
We'll go into it later.
Yeah, we're gonna go into it, and I'm not gonna say anything else. Just I have been a secretary of the Macedonian Community Council of Melbourne and Victoria probably for 8 years. I was the secretary of the Macedonian Orthodox Church Uspenia na Presveta Bogorodica. At once I was secretary of the Macedonian Teachers Association after Klimovska, and many others associations, and 27 years on the radio, broadcasting Macedonian, voluntarily 27 years, 3 times per week and 2 times per week to prepare.
Yeah, you deserve it.
To prepare 1 hour for the radio or any broadcasting, you need at least 4 to 5 hours if you want to be good broadcaster. That's me. That's it, Najdovski-Perin.
Thank you. Folks, this is the first time that I personally have been a moderator, so you have to bear with me. I'm not an expert at this. I'll try my best. I've got a good panel, and our questions, there are only 3 questions really. The question is, where do we Macedonians in Australia find ourselves? And where does the Republic and Ege find themselves? How did we get here? And what can we do to move forward so we can protect our identity and our right to our self-determination? So I'm going to start with Elena, because Elena is probably a... Sorry, Elena, I forgot about that. So Elena, you came here, when did you arrive in Australia?
So when I was 10 years old.
So about 12, 15?
About 13.
13 years ago.
Yeah.
So what are your impressions of our community? And by that I mean positive and negative. What hit you first? What struck you first about our community?
Yeah, so when I came to Australia, I actually felt very undermined by the Macedonian community, especially by people and even kids that were born here. They sort of looked down upon me because I was born in Macedonia. And I think that gap still exists. There is a contention between the Macedonians in Macedonia and the Macedonians in the diaspora, where both parties look at each other negatively and with suspicion and make fun of each other. So yeah, even as a kid, I saw that there was a lack of unity in the Macedonian community in Australia.
So it was the lack of unity,
Yeah.
and this, how can you put this, this conflict between us and our people in the Republic.
Yeah, correct.
So division, you
Yeah.
saw division. What about you, young man? You were born here, you come from a patriotic. He's 1 year younger than me, so you better call me Diego after this.
yeah.
So, how do you see our community?
Well, where do I start?
All in 10 seconds, please.
I back Eleanor's sentiments on this, folks. I think our community is very divided. There is a huge gap between those of us here in the diaspora and those of them back in Macedonia. I've personally experienced being firsthand. I was born here, but obviously, as I said, my father's family is Macedonian, my mother's family is Māori. I've always felt the difference and the pressure and the judgment to be looked at as, oh, you're not fully Macedonian, you don't have two Macedonian parents. But that never holds me back. I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Doesn't hold me back. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. There's a lot of work to do. We're in a bit of a dynamic position at the moment where we're not fully there yet, but we're not dead and buried. It's time we start doing something about it.
Andrea, you were born here. Where do we find ourselves here? Are we a divided community? Are we a community that's looking to the future? Are we a community that's doing something for our human rights? I mean, look, we had on TV, we had a Macedonian girl become a master chef. We have sports people, we have intellectuals, but we still seem to be suffering from a little bit of lack of confidence and pride in ourselves as a community, not as individuals.
Oh, this is a really difficult question, I think. Our community has been here since the 1920s, and so there are so many generations. My grandchildren are 5th generation, 3rd generation born in Australia. So I think that separation of time from those in the Republic, времето си го прави своето. And I think our generation have done what we've done, and I think it was an amazing community. It really and truly was, and it was fantastic to be a part of it. Times change, and there has to be a place for the younger generation to come in there and take their place as well. And so I'm really pleased to see these sorts of activities. I'm elated about what Preston Lions Soccer Club is doing. That tells me that our community is alive. It's just another generation is going to do it differently. It just, it makes me very, very happy. So that will look very differently. When I was a little girl growing up here, I was 5 when Sveti Georgi opened, and I remember that. And I was too little, I couldn't see, everybody was taller than me, but I knew something really special was happening. And we grew up around that community and around that church. That church seeded Preston Macedonia, it seeded school, it seeded Svetlos dancing groups, it was etno svetilo za site. As more migrants came from Macedonia, more churches were started, and they were little beacons of light, and the communities built around them. We live now in a digital age. Things are different, and I really believe this is the time for a digital community, an international community where people are are connected in different ways. So I'm very, very hopeful for the future and very happy to see the connections online with Macedonians. We didn't have that. When we were in court for the language, we didn't even have email at that stage. So the technology allows us to do different things. So that's, I don't know whether that answers your question.
Well, I was hoping you talk about, not just about, I was hoping you'd mention the Grekomani, the other part of the Macedonians in here. Because I see in the Grekomani, in my little country town, a little bit of an awakening. So we grew up in a time here where brothers fought against each other over identity. So we've come a long way since then, I think. I don't think there's the hatred that there was, like it used to be in the old days.
Ending your workout.
I think we've, I don't have a lot to do with Grekomani, to be honest.
Yeah.
In the early 1960s, when my Baba Ilinka was buried at the Sveti Georgi church, my mother's cousins didn't come to the funeral because they were scared. So there's a lot of things, other things going on. This was right back in the 50s and 60s. And I hope in this discussion, when you ask about how we got here, we actually need to, I think, touch on some of these things because they are hanging in our community. It's like this a dark cloud because we have not addressed the terrible, terrible things that happen to people and the reasons why they came here in the first half of the 1900s, from the 1920s to the 1950s. And we need to look at those things because that actually feeds into what's happening currently with the geopolitical and the situation in Macedonia.
Thank you. Orlan, your perspective on our community here, where are we at?
Look, I think I'd like to have a positive perspective also of ways. I see our community as a mosaic of different stones, of different clubs, associations, of different talented people, of different individuals and families, professionals in whatever field. So everyone is making a contribution in their own special way, and there is a lot of respect for our community, and we've come a long way. We've proven ourselves that we know who we are, we know what we want. We need to basically reconnect at every opportunity. We need, I think, a truth and reconciliation project as well, to basically address some issues which have held us back in the past, and there's no reason why things that happened in the past, I understand, especially our people in Ege and other places that were traumatized by brutal fascist dictatorship, to change their name, to change, their land was taken off them, they were thrown off, and there was a lot of terrorism imposed on our people. So we need to discuss this so that Australians and our people understand what's going on.
Yeah, because we have been colonised, so we suffer from that colonisation process of self-hatred and insecurity and all that. But we've managed, I think we've managed to overcome that to a great degree.
I think so.
It's all. If you've got anything extra to say, otherwise can we go?
I would like to touch on the Macedonian community and to say that, look, the Macedonian community is one of the richest communities in Australia. We should be proud of the past generations, what they have done for us. And we shouldn't be now disappointed with the happenings of today. So if we're going to look at or assess the activities of the other generations in the past, so they left us with so many churches, so many soccer grounds, schools, Macedonian language, Macedonian culture, folklorni grupi. We are very rich Macedonian community and we should be proud of it
We are rich.
and maintaining. But for at this very moment, we are, I think, at this stage, and we think we can't do much more than what it is now. But David over there proved ourselves that we can do that.
He did.
In a different way.
Yeah.
Yes, we can do that. So we can see our future, our perspectives in the younger generation. The younger generation of the Macedonians here in Australia, I think they are very capable. They are everywhere, in every part of the Australian society, whether they are in the education system, political system, or
Sport.
sport, health, this and
You
that,
name it.
everywhere. So we have really, really very good individuals in the Macedonian, within the Macedonian community. But the problem is we have to maintain them to blossom.